Speaking of life and art, Claire, paint me a picture about these Beckhams.
I have to say, just like your beloved Chiara and Fede, a family has broken up, and I've done some investigative journalism into what the fuck happened, and I have a theory.
Oh my God. Okay.
I have a theory. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but the Beckham family is facing a crisis. There has been a long suspicion / like kind of awareness that Brooklyn Beckham. Sorry, I've just never heard that word. Brooklyn. I haven't heard it before. Brooklyn Beckham and his wife. Well, I guess Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz Beckham. They took each other's last name. Very beautiful. Very woke.
Cool.
It is cool.
I do think it's cool.
You had a tone.
I think if someone else did it, I'd be more impressed. But when Brooklyn Peltz Beckham does it, I'm like, another little activity for you to.
Okay, first of all, he's a hot sauce entrepreneur.
Another little activity for you to.
He's an entrepreneur.
Add to your list.
Anyway. They got married in 2022, and since then, there's been a lot of speculation of a split from the main Beckham family. Of course, we're talking about the very famous David Beckham of Kick Your Ball Sideways, Bend It Like Beckham, and Posh Spice. So what happened here? Are they really friends? Are they really not friends?
Friends?
Are they family? Well, I mean, they're literally family, but do they get along?
Okay.
And the answer is no, and it's become clear over Christmas. It was reported that Victoria and David had unfollowed Brooklyn. And then one of the younger brothers, Romeo, or the other one, I believe, Romeo or Cupid, they all have the dumbest name. Romeo or Cruz, I think.
Cruz.
Cruz came out and said on his Instagram story, my parents would never unfollow their son. We woke up blocked, as did I. I love that. My parents would never unfollow their child.
Well, can I say, I actually do think if I was a famous family, something that I always find so fascinating is the following and unfollowing of celebrities as confirmation of rumors, because I do think that to unfollow someone on Instagram is actually extremely dramatic.
It's
like, I find that to be an egregious move.
It's a way of making the public involved in what you're doing without having to explicitly say it.
Like,
you know you're getting watched.
I have long held the belief that Justin Bieber, someone I believe is fairly unstable and deeply unkind. I think that one of the meanest things he does is unfollowing Hailey when he's mad at her because it gets the entire world involved in this thing over something as petty as an Instagram follow. It is like, oh, you're pissed at your wife and you can't just mute her. Just don't look at her Instagrams. It just feels like such an obnoxious and insane thing to do because you're not just saying, I'm mad at you. You're saying, I'm mad at you in a way that I would like there to be headlines about this. Like, when you're that famous, it's such an egregious act. I think it means more than saying something mean in a conversation. It's like a truly insane thing to do.
So I have been wondering what the hell happened with this family. And so I did some deep diving. Would you like to hear my conclusions?
Yeah.
So up first, a timeline. Brooklyn and Nicola met at a Halloween party in 2019.
Oh my God. Same with my brother and his wife.
That same year?
I think, yeah.
Maybe it was the same party because in an interview they gave, and like in a German magazine for their Love Edition, Brooklyn said, there were paparazzi everywhere and I didn't want to be photographed. So yeah, I ended up in a bush. Which makes me laugh because guess who was throwing the Halloween party?
His mom?
Leonardo DiCaprio. Imagine going to Leonardo DiCaprio's Halloween party as Brooklyn.
I thought I could outrun the press. Brooklyn Beckham, they are not there to photograph you.
Imagine going to Leonardo DiCaprio's party and be like, paparazzi's here
for me?
Like, dude, aren't you in costume? Aren't you hiding?
They literally, can I say, I'm sure they didn't clock him.
Absolutely not.
Until they saw him crawling out of a bush and they said, well, that's actually a story.
So they met that Halloween, instant chemistry. Well, they had like met at a Coachella years ago, but they've had their first real conversation.
Everyone's met at a Coachella years ago.
They go IG official in January of 2020, and then they get engaged by July 2020.
Whoa.
So it was a really fast engagement, and he had actually said he wanted to get engaged faster, but he couldn't because of the pandemic, and he wanted all the families to be present.
Oh.
He's 21, she's 25 at this point.
Oh, Cougar Town.
But, you know, Posh and David had him at 23. So he says in interviews, I always wanted to be a young dad like my dad. There's a lot of family loving in old interviews. So like, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of, I want to emulate my dad. I want to do what my dad did, blah, blah, blah. Here's where it breaks down. So they got engaged July 2020. In their engagement photos, Nicola simply pelts, wears a Victoria Beckham dress. Yellow is very pretty. The first time people say that there's beef was at the wedding, which happened in August 2022.
At the car dealership, yes.
At what I called a car dealership wedding in Miami. And so here's why it matters. You have to know backwards because it has long been suspected that the feud between the two couples, the parents and Nicola and Brooklyn, had to do with the dress that Victoria was supposed to make for Nicola.
Okay, yes. There was like a rumor that she was supposed to make like her after party dress or something.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what it was. And that's why I say she wore a Victoria Beckham dress to her engagement photos.
Okay.
So everybody seems on board. Apparently, right after they get engaged, according to Nicola in an interview later, addressing the rumors about the beef, she said, Victoria offered to make me a dress. I was honored. A few months later, it turned out the atelier couldn't do it. And that's when I started working with Valentino. We worked for a year on the dress I ended up wearing for August 2022. Unclear whose fault that was.
Who couldn't do what?
Exactly. I'm like, why would an atelier not be able to make a dress? And she says this completely disputing this idea that the rumor was that Victoria just like never got around to making the dress and didn't really want to do it. And then Nicola went out and said, oh, no, it was just the atelier couldn't do it. And then there was this idea that because she went with Custom Valentino that she like worked with them to make, like maybe there was this idea that, well, she's a billionaire. So she's the daughter to a billionaire. Her dad's just in finance. He's, I think, on the Wendy's board and also Cisco. I don't know. He owns a bunch of shit. Anyway, so she's a billionaire. She's been growing up with custom couture her whole life. I kind of was always wondering, like, was it that she didn't really want her boyfriend's mom's beeline wedding dress and she wanted a custom Valentino? Anyway, nobody knows. She says she was supposed to make it. The atelier couldn't do it. I ended up working with Valentino. I will say what she came up with Valentino seemed like something almost anybody could have made up. It was quite simple.
I remember saying you spent a year on it.
Exactly. So anyway, that was the rumor that it has something to do with the wedding dress. When she dispelled that rumor, there was a secondary rumor that the reason she felt her wedding had been ruined by Victoria, being the center of attention, was that Mark Anthony, who's a close family friend, performed a song as a gift, but he did this thing where he came up and he said, I want to sing the song. Brooklyn, can you come up with here? And I'd also like to invite up the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria.
That's fucked up.
They then proceeded to have a mother-son dance. So some people are saying at this point, Nicola felt that her wedding was ruined, that he humiliated her, that like Victoria had set her up to be like, oh, my friend will sing you a song, and then kind of like took the spotlight. Other guests have said at that point, actually, Nicola and Brooklyn had their own first dance, that this was just getting the party started. I guess either way, if you didn't know it was going to be a mother-son dance and the most beautiful woman in the room is Victoria, like
you can't call someone who's not the bride the most beautiful girl in the room.
But it also feels like
unless the mom is an uggo.
Yeah, or
you
like
have to
sick.
you have to have a real.
I get it, but I also am like, it's not her fault. Like they're saying it was her stunt, but I'm like, I don't know. He said it. Did she ask him to? Anyway,
I mean, he couldn't make it work with J-Lo.
Yeah, he's like a piece of work. He seems like somebody who likes to pit women against each other. So that was in August 22 when they get married. There's beef about it, but they seem to go out of their way to like clear it up. They're like, that's not true. We don't hate each other. They're posting a lot in 2023. She, in March, supports the docuseries that they put on Netflix. She goes to this fashion show. They're having fun in vacation. In February 2024, Victoria goes to the Lola premiere. Nicola wrote and directed a movie called Lola. Nicola herself wears Victoria Beckham at the time. I think you have to see when is she wearing Victoria Beckham to be like, what happened here? And like, she's obviously, and she always looks great. Actually, what she wore to the Lola premiere looks a lot like what her goodbye outfit at her own wedding was, ironically. It was like trouser pants and a vest. I mean, she looks great. Something very funny that I would like to pull from an interview that they say is Nicola wants to clear up the rumor. She goes, just to be clear, no, I did not cut Brooklyn out of Lola. He wanted to shoot the scene where he and a friend stumble out of a strip club. It was supposed to be subtle. Instead, they crawled through the scene like it was a comedy. Brooklyn goes, apparently, I also looked at the camera too much. And then she goes, he's still in there if you look hard enough. And Brooklyn goes, I haven't seen myself. I just think it's very funny to go, to clear up the record, I did not cut him out of the movie. He just shot a scene that I deemed not worthy of being in the final cut. Sure, whatever. Okay, so anyway, we're up to February 2024, Lola premiere. Victoria shows up. They're supportive of each other. April 2024, they both do a Victoria birthday post. Nicola famously reposts a video of them dancing on the beach together. People love that video. They both looked really emaciated in a way that the internet just loves to look at.
Oh,
and
yay.
He posts a throwback photo of them. Is like, I love you, mommy. Happy birthday. It's her 50th birthday. She also is a little bit older than David. That Christmas 2024, Xmas at the Beckhams. So they do Christmas at the Beckhams. So up till the end of 2024, we're all good, right?
Yeah, I feel good.
Also, I was reading a lot of interviews. He did this interview with like Interview Magazine. He is citing his father a lot. That's where he goes, I want to be a young father like my dad, but of course I have to wait for Nicola to be ready. It's her body. He goes, I've stolen so many shirts from my dad. I think my dad has such great style. Like a lot of odes to the father, okay? Next May is
25.
David, May 25. So in the next 5 months, something happens where David turns 50. He doesn't go to the birthday party. And there's not just one birthday party. There's like 15 birthday parties in both England and the US, Miami, LA. He's at none of them. There's also a 50th birthday boys trip in Scotland where David and his sons all go fishing. And it's called like the David and Sons fishing trip. And Brooklyn is tagged, we miss you. He's not there either. He didn't go to any of the birthdays. He then conspicuously, 16 days later on his own Insta, he doesn't even post an Instagram for his dad. No happy birthday Instagram on his 50th birthday. And obviously this is a post-happy family. That means a lot in their culture.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 50-year-old man having several birthday parties and a son's fishing trip. Most people would say either or. Most people would say, I'm not trying to do a big thing for my birthday. I'm just going to go fishing with my sons. Or they say, it's my 50th birthday. We're partying in every city.
Very conspicuously, 15 days later, he posts a miss you post. I can't believe it's been a year. I miss you so much, Nona. To Nicola's grandmother. No offense, of course.
Who's Nona? Nicola's Nona.
He is posting not for his father's 50th birthday, but for the 1-year anniversary of the death of Nicola's grandmother.
R.I.P. Nenny.
And you have to think at this point, if she died in 2024 and they only met in like 2020, like how much did he know her?
Yeah.
Anyway, he really misses her. That felt pointed. He also then later that summer does a happy birthday post to Nicola's father, who's the oldest man in the world.
160?
Yeah.
Dang.
And he looks great. So in June of 2025, this person Turnbull, who is I think maybe a person that's important, it's a young woman who I think is important to London. She comes from a quote unquote creative family of artists. So I think, you know how in London sometimes they'll have these like C-list girls who are like, my dad was a painter and his dad was a DJ. Yeah. And my mom was a model and her mom was a princess. And like they kind of just like exist on the...
Yeah, we find out about them when they date Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Poppy Delevingne who has a little sister who goes on to be Cara.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So one of them is dating a younger brother of Beckham, and she had to come out in 2025 and put to rest the rumors that she used to date Brooklyn. They had dated for like 6 months, and apparently the English tabloids, and you know, they can be crazy, had been whipping up this frenzy that Brooklyn had dated this girl before. He was upset that now his little brother was dating her and the family had welcomed her in. Of course, when she said that's not even true, she's denying it, but that is what was happening in the tabloids.
So wait, either Romeo or Cruz is dating this girl.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I said I was a journalist, but I refused to learn between the two boys.
3 boys.
The bottom 2.
But Brooklyn did date her?
She's saying no, they just knew each other in high school, but that's what's been reported over and over again.
Okay.
So here's where it gets really interesting. So clearly he's met at his family. August 2025, they redo their vows and have a whole new wedding at her parents' house to celebrate 3 years.
Oh, you know, you have to renew at 3.
She wears her mother's wedding dress and they do like a to-do. They do a full couple posts. It's beautiful. And this, of course, comes on the tail and the heels of the rumors that she thinks Victoria ruined her original wedding. They have a wedding at her family's house in Westchester, and the parents are not there. Rumors are then that at the end of that very summer, that August, he sends his parents a cease and desist letter saying, do not speak about me in the public. If you would like to have any contact with me, you can do so through lawyers.
Why are we talking through lawyers? What's there to law about?
I think that's like people are saying that there is no real thing. But essentially it was him saying, like, keep my name out of your mouth. If you want to reconcile this, you have to do it privately. Like, do not speak about me publicly. So here's where it gets testy. That November, David gets his knighthood, which is apparently something he had always wanted. They do not go to the celebration, even though it's clearly a big deal to the family.
I mean, a big deal to the family. It's a big deal to
the nation.
I think a lot of people would call a knighthood something to look at.
The next week, they go to London secretly to do a Moncler ad for the jackets.
Oh, you could have gone a week early. And
they don't contact the family. Now, here's where things get crazy.
Crazier than skipping a birthday and a knighthood.
And missing somebody else's dead grandma.
We haven't even said Sir David Beckham yet.
December 2025, the block off is kicked off when Victoria breaks the legal request of Brooklyn by liking one of his Instagram reels. The Instagram reel in question, he's showing people how to prepare a turkey.
Do you think he even knows?
With a side of mashed potatoes that only had 17,000 views. Brooklyn, you needed the help and your mother could tell. He, in turn, blocks everyone from his family. It gets reported on by the press that they unfollowed him. Cruz, of course, comes forward and says, my parents would never unfollow their son. He has blocked us.
I really believe that. Can I say, out of all of the crazy mixed up statements that swirl about, I think the truest thing that we have on this earth is my belief that Victoria Beckham would not unfollow her son on Instagram.
The final straw has now been that Nicola Peltz has deleted all photos of the Beckham family.
I'm sorry. You guys have to tell us. You can't be doing a little charade on Instagram and then just like leave me out of it.
So obviously the suspicion is that the two women are having fights, that Nicola hates Victoria. Victoria's difficult. Nicola's difficult. There's also been the suggestion that Nicola has this much more powerful family. You know, they're billionaires. So like as rich and famous as
the Poshy Becks are.
The Becks are, like, you can't trump a Billy. There's also been suggestions that, you know, Posh and Becks, whatever car she drove growing up, were these working class people who worked really hard and upped their station in life. And now maybe there's a judgment of the fact that Brooklyn is such a fucking loser who can't get anything off the ground. And even though they don't feel that way, he's insecure and he reads it that way.
That elephant photography was pretty bad.
Yeah, and he's a hot sauce entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I feel like to be an entrepreneur in the food space, you can't even get more than 17K views on a turkey prep.
No, it's bad. I mean, he's clearly an unsuccessful man and kind of a dud. But meanwhile, the Peltz family has this air of, we're billionaires, why would we work hard?
Like he feels much more comfortable.
Obviously, Nicola's mother, Claudia, is much younger. She's like 30 years younger than the father. And I feel like there's a real sense of, maybe because he has a daughter and not a son, there's not so much expectation from the older father to like see you live up to his name. There's kind of course, why would you guys work? We're billionaires, which not necessarily wrong. So maybe Brooklyn feels a bit safer there. I would like to posit this. Is it possible that all of the heat that's been between the two women, maybe it is between the two men? Because I feel like if I see anything, I see Victoria showing up for her daughter-in-law and I see her daughter-in-law dressing in Victoria's clothes. I see him posting for his mom. He did not that year post for his dad. The mother herself was liking his Instagram, trying to do nothing but show support. I wonder if this is a fight where the wives have had to take the sides of their loved ones, their husbands. But really, I wonder if this is a problem of a son feeling threatened and insecure and not able to live up to his father, and his father not knowing how to support his son properly.
Can I add in another variable?
Yeah, a variable.
The rumors of Bex being a cheater, pumpkin eater.
Do you think it's like a Prince Harry situation where he actually hates that his dad's a cheater now that he knows the love of a good woman?
Yes. I guess I wonder if there was like a straw that broke a camel's back where he's like, I'm not going to keep celebrating this guy who's so disrespectful to the mother I love. I won't celebrate his 50th birthday, go fishing with him like nothing's the matter.
I guess I really do live my life by the principle of men do not do things that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I think to put all of the blame and the weight on the two women and they're bickering and they're so catty and the dress didn't get made, blah, 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 blah. I have to wonder, could she keep that son from this family that he adores? And meanwhile, here's all these interviews where he's looking up to his dad and he's nothing but a failure and he's made fun of in the press. I don't know. I wonder if it's between the men.
My takeaway from your presentation is that it is either a feeling of inadequacy and he just doesn't feel like he's made anything of himself, which I actually hesitate to believe because I
think he's pretty proud of himself.
I think he's probably pretty proud of himself. I think for someone who considers himself a colossal failure, you're not like inserting yourself and adding comedy to a scene in your wife's film. Like, I think even getting cut out, he's probably like, that's a joke. I'm doing cooking now. I'm doing hot sauce now. Buy my book. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to make a man feel ashamed, especially a man who was born into
well, especially a man who keeps showing up. Like, if he was so ashamed, wouldn't he stop?
Yeah. And then I also think now he's married up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he has failed up in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to believe that there's this shame. So the other thing is that perhaps he's a noble gentleman, a knight in his own right, who stands up for his mother.
Maybe, but it would be interesting because like it seems that the like on Instagram sparked the beef. But we also never know what's happening in the background. We don't know if that like sparked a text, which sparked a call, which sparked a fight.
And which brings me back to, you have to tell us.
You have to tell us. We figured you guys out, and now you've made it desperately obvious, and now you have to tell us. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. I'm actually very interested.